Pep Guardiola forced to apologise after bizarre comments in a press conference. Jude Bellingham addresses a potential Liverpool transfer. And much more in today's Football Fix. Daily videos, subscribe and leave a like if you enjoy. Today we start with the news that Van Nistelrooy is set to become the new Leicester City manager. We reported yesterday on the fact that there were rumours that he was maybe going to be stepping into the hot seat at Leicester amongst Moyes and Potter being ruled out of that position. But tonight we have seen numerous highly respected journalists reporting this is set to be announced tomorrow. Denzel Dumfries has signed himself a new contract over at Inter Milan until 2028. Very impressive performances so far since he joined the club, and they have rewarded him with a new contract. We reported on Vicario picking up his injury that he managed the other day. He played 60 minutes with an injured ankle, which maybe has hindered him even more so than just getting subbed off, because he is now confirmed to be out for months, says Ange Postecoglou. And interestingly enough, in January, he says they are not set to look to sign another goalkeeper. They are happy with Fraser Forster as the backup to Vicario, which I'm not sure their fans are going to be too happy about. Ruben Amorim has been talking about how fit his centre-backs are, considering they have numerous injury problems. Lenny Yoro back in training, but nowhere near ready to start yet. Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez also on the grass. Maguire not going to be available. Lisandro Martinez does have a chance. So we are getting closer to seeing Amorim's starting ideal 11. Let's look at the Pep Guardiola news, as he was in a press conference after the game the other day, and he appeared scratched and as if he had a load of marks on his nose and his head, and an interviewer asked him about that, and he said that he, quote, wants to harm himself. So following that, he came out with a couple of tweets. He said that he was caught off guard with a question at the end of the press conference, and his answer was in no way intended to make light of the very serious issue of self-harm, and offered people the Samaritan's hotline and email. I feel like it was just a light-hearted joke that maybe came out in slightly the wrong way, when in reality, maybe he just scratched himself with a little bit of stress from the game that was going on. They did concede 3 in 15 minutes. Maybe he just literally had a little scratch. I feel like it's been blown out of proportion quite a bit. Speaking of Manchester City, contract talks with Kevin De Bruyne have stalled, and so his future at the club is uncertain. This comes amongst Pep Guardiola signing his new contract recently, and then the following news. That is Manchester City's 115 charges. We may not hear the full answer, conclusion, potential punishments and relegations, point deductions, all of this until after the end of this season. So is someone like De Bruyne waiting to hear the results of these? Does he want to stick around if the club do genuinely get a potential relegation? Or is he maybe just wanting different demands? We'll have to wait and see, but the 115 charges by the Premier League for Manchester City, we might have to wait a while. Someone that isn't going to wait around for a new contract, though, is Luis Suarez. He has re-signed with Inter Miami. Obviously, getting the band back together, all of the ex-Barca. Mascherano is now the manager. You have Messi, you have Jordi Alba, Busquets, and now this confirmation of Luis Suarez re-signing. Lionel Messi is also potentially set to re-sign a contract and renew with Inter Miami after the 2026 World Cup. So I feel like a lot of people thought that maybe he'd sign here for a couple of years, then maybe move back to Argentina or just retire. But he looks set to stay at the club for a few more seasons, which Miami fans and MLS fans are surely buzzing about. Frank Lampard is set to join Coventry City. We did a video about this a couple of days ago, and it is now all but confirmed, similar to the Ruud Van Nistelrooy news at Leicester City. All the details have been signed, and now we are just waiting on official confirmation from Coventry. Feels like a good step for Frank Lampard. He didn't quite do the job that well when he was in the Premier League recently with Everton, and the way that it ended at Chelsea in his second stint. Not great. This gives him a chance to rebuild his career. Alexander Isak is a massive target for Barcelona in the summer. news about Lewandowski potentially moving on or just looking for a long-time successor to him. Lewandowski having a great season so far, but Isak showed that he has been really good after moving from La Liga, where he performed fantastically for Real Sociedad. He's done well for Newcastle, and Barcelona are eyeing him for what would be an eye-watering, incredible £100 million+ move. Very expensive. Lamine Yamal has expectedly won the Golden Boy Award. He is just a phenomenal generational talent, isn't he? And so this award was fully expected, and he is going to be eligible for these awards for years to come, which is kind of nuts considering how good he already is. He is the future of Barcelona, the future of Spain, and could go on at this rate to be one of the greatest players the world has ever seen. There are rumours that Gareth Southgate is done with management, and his next role within football will be that of maybe a director of football or someone in a board and hierarchy of a club rather than an actual head coach or manager. Has the stress of England been too much for him, and he doesn't feel like he could go back to club football after his stinted career at clubs like Middlesbrough? We will see. And we end with the news that Jude Bellingham has been asked about Liverpool, and he has said numerous things about them. One, when he went to Real Madrid, he says that people were making out that his move to Liverpool was a lot closer than it actually was in reality. So there were links. He was potentially looking at making that move, but it wasn't as if it was in an advanced stage and he was just nicked right at the brink by Real Madrid. He was in talks, but Real Madrid were the ones that came calling, and he has said similar to Rodri, that when Real Madrid knock on the door, you have to pay attention. He also says about a future move to Liverpool that he is happy at Real Madrid, and he thinks the next 10 to 15 years will be in white for him. So he is committing himself to the next decade plus of being a Real Madrid player, probably winning numerous Champions Leagues, La Ligas, and putting himself in with a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. So that is the final piece of news for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you tomorrow.